I thought I'd share a little video of me steaming bok choy in my varoma. I do this quite often with steaming vegetables, but bok choy, I have an abundance of them at the moment, so I thought I'd share with you what I do. So first of all, I'm going to take some peanuts and I'm going to chop them in my Thermomix. Now I'm doing them this time on speed 6 because I want them a little bit finer, but you could have them a bit more coarse by a lower speed. We've got children in the house over the weekend, so I'm just going to chop them a bit finer for them. So I'm setting my peanuts aside so you can see the texture right there. And now I've prepped my bok choy. So I've just pulled this from my air garden and I have split them down the center and I've pulled off the larger leaves from the outside. I've washed them and I've put the larger half bok choy in the base of my bowl, and the larger leaves that were sitting on the outside, I've just put them in the tray. Now I'm just going to set that aside and start making the sauce. Okay, the first two things I'm putting into my Thermomix bowl are tamari and light soy. So thin soy or light soy is not as salty if you use that. So if you've got dark soy, just halve it. The next thing that's going in is I'm using a sauce that's called hoisin, which is a little bit sweet. It's an Asian flavored sauce. If you prefer or don't have that on hand and you have oyster sauce, you could use that instead. Then I'm adding some water, so about 170 grams of water works really well for 8 to 10 minutes on steaming mode with these other ingredients in here. The next thing is going in is some sesame oil, some toasted sesame oil. Now I'm adding some corn flour this time to thicken up just a little bit the sauce. So I'm putting in 5 grams of corn flour, but you could leave this out if you don't want to use it. So it would make a really thin sauce if you left it out. But this just makes it just thick enough to coat the bok choy really nicely, I think. So the next thing I do is I'm going to then mix this ingredients together to make sure that I've got all my corn flour blitzed. So I'm just giving this 5 seconds on speed 5, and that will make sure that the corn flour has completely mixed through, and then I am going to set my varoma in place. So popping the lid on, taking the MC out and popping the varoma on top. Now I'm going to set mine for 10 minutes because my bok choy on the bottom are quite large. Varoma temperature speed 3. So while that's steaming, I'm just going to start preparing the rest of my ingredients to sprinkle over the top. So because the kids are here, I'm not using any chili today, but you could use chili. This is red capsicum, so I'm just slicing that and then I'm going to chop it finely. Okay, so then I'm going to add that to the peanuts, and then I've got some garlic chives from my air garden. I've just pulled a couple off or cut some from the outside, and I'm going to put a little bit of coriander in. Luckily everyone likes coriander here, so we'll put a little bit of that in with the mix. If you didn't like coriander, you could use parsley. You could leave it out completely if you like. And if you didn't have chives, you could use spring onions. But that's what the mix looks like, so that will be sprinkled over the top when I'm finished cooking. Okay, so when the time is up, we remove the lid away from our face, and then we put the base of the varoma onto the lid, and we have a look and check our sauce. Okay, so this sauce had the corn flour in it. And here's an image where I've made the same thing but without corn flour, so you can choose whether you want to have a thicker or thinner sauce.